Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the financial accounting lecture. Our lecture today will be about the basic accounting equation. Accounting equation. What is accounting equation? Accounting equation is assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. What is the meaning of each component of this equation? The first one is assets. Assets are the resources a business owns. Second one is liabilities. Liabilities are the claims of those to whom the company owes money. And the last one is owner's equity. Owner's equity are the claims of owners. Let's explain that in more details in example 1.1. Example 1.1 بيقول لنا the following are business transactions for a computer programming business. Business is owned by Omar. During its first month, September 2016 of operations. And we have 10 transactions to solve in this example. Let's do it. I'm gonna explain each of these transactions separately, but before starting to solve it, I wanna notice you that each of these transactions must have a dual effect on the accounting equation. For example, if an asset is increased, there must be a corresponding حاجة من ثلاثة. The first one, decrease in another asset. Second one, increase in a specific liability. And the last one, increase in owner's equity. Firstly, I wanna tell you about how to make the table of accounting equations. This table is consisted of four main columns. The first one is for numbers, second one for assets, third one for liabilities, and the last one for owner's equity. So each transaction number, we will put it in the numbers column, and each item is considered as assets. We will put it below the assets, and the same for liabilities and owner's equity. طيب let's read the transaction. Transaction number one, Omar decides to open a computer programming service called Technology Services on September 1, 2016. He invests for 15,000 cash in the business. Okay, he invests 15,000 cash in the business. Has two meanings. As we said before, any transaction must have a dual effect on the accounting table, accounting equation. The first meaning is increasing in cash by 15,000. Well, increasing in cash means increasing in assets, so we will write the cash below the assets by a positive sign. Okay. طيب, the second meaning is investment meaning it's a capital. So the second meaning is the 15,000 is the owner's capital in the business. So we will write the owner's capital below owner's equity by 15,000 with a negative sign. Transaction number two. Technology Services purchases computer equipment for 7,000 cash. That means he paid cash for purchasing the equipment. So there is an increase and decreasing in cash. We will go and write cash below the assets and put the amount of purchasing, but with a negative sign. In the same time, purchasing an equipment means increasing in assets by the equipment. So we will go and write the equipment below assets by the amount 7,000 cash, but with a positive sign. Transaction number three. Technology Services purchases for $1,600 from Hani Company papers, and supplies, expected to last several months. Hani agrees to allow technology services to pay this bill in October. يعني technology services purchases some supplies and didn't pay for Hani company. So we will put below the assets the supplies, because the supplies is considered as assets. We will put it by this amount 1,600, and the other side we will put accounts payable, because they didn't pay for Hani company, so it's payable. Transaction number 4. Technology Services receives $1,200 cash from customers for programming services it has provided. Any amount the company earned from any customer, it considered as a revenues. Revenues is the earnings that we get from the customers. So this amount of money, 1,200, is called revenues, and we put revenues below the owner's equity. In the same time, this amount is received in cash, so we will put this amount in the cash by positive sign because of the increasing in cash. Transaction number 5. Technology Services receives a bill for $250 from the Daily News for advertising but postpones payment until a later date. Technology Services have to pay $250 to the Daily News, but they didn't pay. That means there is a liability. So we go to the liabilities and write accounts payable as a liability by 250 with a positive sign. In the same time, these advertising fees considered as expense for this company. So we will go and place expenses below owner's equity by 250 with a negative sign. Transaction number 6. Technology Services provides $3,500 of programming services for customers. The company receives cash of $1,500 from customers, and it bills the balance of $2,000 on account. Technology Services دي performed a services for customers and get 3,500. As we say before, any amount we earn it from any customer is called revenues. So we have revenues by amount of 3,500. We will put the revenues below owner's equity by this amount. And the other side, in assets, what happened in assets? We have cash by 1,500, so we will put the cash by 1,500, and the remaining amount we will put it as account receivable. Transaction number 7. Technology Services pays the following expenses in cash for September: store rent $600, salaries and wages of employees $900, and utilities $200. As we said before, expenses means there is a decreasing in cash, so we will put all this amount in cash by a negative sign, and we will put expenses below owner's equity by all these amounts برضو with a negative sign. Transaction number 8, technology services pays its $250 daily news bill in cash. This bill that they didn't pay before and now they pay. So there is a decreasing in cash for paying this amount, and there is a decreasing in account payable um, because of the payment of this bill. Transaction number 6. Technology services receives 600 in cash from customers who had been billed for services in transaction number 6. Um, Technology services receives 600 in cash. That mean what? That mean there is an increasing in cash. So we will go and put the cash and put the amount with a positive sign. In the same time, this amount we recorded before as a account receivable by positive sign. So now it decreased, the account receivable is decreased. So we will put it by negative sign. Transaction number 10. Omar withdraws 1,300 in cash from the business for his personal use. Omar withdraws 1,300 in cash. So the cash is decreasing by 1,300. We will put the cash by negative sign. In the other side, there is the owner's equity. We will put owner's drawing by the same amount with a negative sign. This is the whole solution for the 10 transactions which we made before. زي ما قلنا the accounting equation table is consists of 4 columns. The first one for numbers, second one for assets, third one for liabilities, and the last one for owner's equity. Assets includes cash, account receivable, supplies, equipment. Liabilities include accounts payable, and owner's equity include owner's capital, owner's drawings, revenues and expenses. طيب, what we should do after that, we should add all the amounts in each column to get the ending balance. For example, cash, we will add the amount of transaction 1, the amount of transaction 2, the amount of transaction 4, and so on to get the ending balance for each column of this table. After getting the ending balance for each item in the table, ending balance for cash, for account receivable, for supplies, for equipment, for accounts payable, owner's capital, owner's drawing, revenues and expenses, we will add the items, all items in assets to each other, cash plus account receivable plus supplies plus equipment, and we will add all of liabilities to all of owner's equity. And we will notice that the amount of total assets is equal to the all amount of liabilities plus owner's equity. After that, we are going to prepare the financial statements. There are 3 financial statements. The first one is income statement. Income statement is a statement includes only 2 main items. The first one is revenue and the second one is expense. All we want to do is subtracting the expenses from the revenues. We will take the revenues and expenses from the table we made before, the equation table, from the ending balance, and adding these values in this statement to get the income, the net income. طيب, as we see, the table consists of 3 columns. The first one for items, second one for parts, and the last one for total. columns, the last two columns, parts and total, is for values. Firstly, we write our revenues as a title, and below it we will add any item related to this revenues. And secondly, we write expenses, and below it we will add any item related to the expenses. And we will get the total for revenues and total for expenses, and subtracting the expenses from revenues to get net income. The second statement is the owner's equity statement. This statement is consists of three columns. The first one is for items, second one for parts, and the last one for totals. First step to write the owner's capital. Second step is to add the investment to the owner's capital, and adding the net income. The net income that we have got in the in the first financial statement, the income statement. And third step, to less drawings. We make that to get owner's capital. The last financial statement. The last financial statement is the balance sheet. Balance sheet is a statement consists of two columns. The first one for assets and the last one for liabilities and owner's equity. In assets column, we will add all the items below the assets: cash, account receivable, supplies, equipment, and we will add all the amounts in this column to get the total assets. In the second column, liabilities and owner's equity, we will add the liabilities to the owner's capital. Owner's capital, it is the amount we got in the last financial statement, the owner's equity financial statement. And after that, we will add it to the liabilities to get the total for liabilities and owner's equity. And after we did that, we will notice that the total assets is equal to the total liabilities and owner's equity.